Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Colton here, and I'm with
Nick Davis of the Night Guys. How you all doing out there?
And he decided to sit down with us today, so how are you doing today?
Well, you kind of press gang me, man, but yeah, we can go there. I'm very well. How are you doing? How is Rivers Comicon treating you guys?
Well, I spilled my burrito on me this morning.
Oh, no.
And I spilled my coffee in the garage.
Oh, do you need a hug?
And,
no,
yeah.
No, you're not going to go for me, man. I'm English. We don't do PDAs.
So, how's your Three Rivers Con going?
Oh, it's going okay. It's okay. I'm actually right at the top end down the road from you guys here. I've been facing the concession stands most of yesterday, which is fantastic and good. I was getting to the point I probably thought, let's go basically buy people meals to actually buy my books. But no. Actually, no. It's been a pretty good Saturday. So we're looking forward to basically see what this Sunday brings us and have some fun here.
So, what is it that you do? I mean, we sat down and introduced ourselves, but we didn't say what you did.
No, you guys sat at home, but Bob was behind the camera, and Colton will be in front of the microphone here and listening to me rambling. Is what exactly do I do? And you never asked me, do you? I could be doing anything.
Yeah.
I could be just a random passerby. No, but seriously, I am a author of the series, author and occasional artist of a series of books called The Night Guys, which basically are the tales of heroic kids and cuddly toys who defend us from the monsters under the bed. They're very much a dark fantasy type comic book / graphic novel. So if you've ever read anything like the Amulet, or maybe like the Wishing Stone, or probably even the Wolfwalkers, you're gonna basically my books are on a similar vein. I believe they basically call them like all ages, which I find a very misleading thing because old ages basically means a story suitable for everybody. So if you ever pick up one of my books, you'll find like in Toy Story, you'll find like basically jokes for kids, and you'll find jokes that you get as well. So it's kind of, I've been having a lot of fun doing those here, and that's what I've been basically working on here.
Yeah, so. I was reading some of the description of what was it? It was Teddy something, I can't remember, but you said it was a love child between Ted and Deadpool.
Oh, we're going to talk about Mr. B.
Okay,
okay, let's talk about Mr. B. Well, Mr. B is not all ages. Let's put it out there right now. He has one swear word in the comic book, so I guess that puts him PG-13. I think you're allowed to swear once.
Yeah, you get one. You're
allowed one, and I think it's the F word, which I'm not going to pronounce because I'm a children's author, ladies and gentlemen. I am not allowed to swear on TV, so fuck that. But it's Mr. Button's basically best way to describe him, he's the bastard love child of Ted, Deadpool, and the Evil Dead. He is a teddy bear that basically is taking extreme matters into basically taking down the monsters under the bed. And when we're talking extreme, we're talking basically, let's say, almost Punisher-esque in a sort of like comedic sort of way.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit Rick and Morty gross out stuff going on in it, a little bit of dark humor in here. I'm basically from the UK, as you could probably tell from my amazing and sexiest accent in the world. I read a lot of 2000 AD when I was a kid, so basically that translates across in a lot of my writing. But with Mr. Button, I can really cut loose and go, okay, I don't actually have to be totally PG here. I can be a little meaner, a little more gross out. It's very much a Rick and Morty style type book in ways you read it. There's lots of silly stuff going on. He's talking to a third-party narrator all the time. He calls Mr. Fancy Pants. And Mr. Fancy Pants is a guy who's trying to read it as a children's book. Yeah. And realizes halfway through he's stuck in a violent, gory book. But Mr. Button himself, although he is the PG-13 mature title kid, so basically any kid underneath 12, ask your mother for it now, okay? And the book is very much part of my Night Guardians universe as well. So Mr. Button actually is a Night Guardian, just basically. He would be what you'd probably consider the Punisher of my universe. Probably not quite as lost as the Punisher writing is, but he's pretty much in that zone. But all my books, the real good thing about my books, you come over there, see my Night Guardian books, the Awakenings, you see the Giant Size Avengers books and Mr. Button's book. They're all connected to each other. It's connective tissue throughout that entire thing. They share a common universe, which is kind of fun. They don't always all things don't always happen all the time. Yeah, but they do share connective tissue. There's even a book on my app called Exposition, which is basically what would happen if you woke up inside your own comic book. And let me tell you, you would absolutely hate it. Imagine basically waking up inside a comic book, and basically you're driving, and you suddenly find yourself driving down the road next to basically Captain America, and you got to fight a giant robot.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I'm just a comic book writer. What the fuck do I do? So basically, I have a book called Exposition. Basically, is the story of what would happen to you. What would happen if you woke up inside a superhero comic book? And it ain't pretty. It's okay, but it's a lot more fun than that sort of. So a lot of stuff I do basically throughout my books. There's a lot of humor, some dark humor in there, some gross out humor, some basically the whole range of humor going on in my books. Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. So I'm basically the author of the books. So I call myself the writer and occasional artist. I bizarrely enough do the art for my for the children's books.
Yeah.
I have another artist who does the books from all my Night Guardians books.
Yeah. So, which one was your favorite to write?
Oh my gosh! That really just depends. I enjoyed writing. I've enjoyed writing them all, and they've been a lot of fun. Actually, a lot of fun. A lot of exercise and creativity. I am by trade a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And way back in the mists of time, I used to work for Games Workshop, working on White Dwarf magazine. Hi kids, remember me? Hello, Paul. So this is an exercise in basically fictional writing. I enjoy doing that. Of all the books I enjoy writing, there's shades of degrees. I enjoy writing the Night Guardians writings. Awakenings, which is basically my core hero team. They're a lot of fun to write because there's four distinct personalities bouncing off each other all the time. I enjoy writing Mr. Pudding because it's almost like an escape from basically being slightly clean. I enjoy exploring concepts and storytelling. For example, I have a book coming up this year called The Last Guardian, which basically is an apocalyptic tale of a boy and his teddy bear as they're basically walking through an apocalyptic race, because apocalypse is apparently trending nowadays, because we could be there ourselves.
We're going there.
We're getting there. Yeah, I've already got my Mad Max clothing ready for me. But apparently, in the near future, basically we don't wear clothing anymore. We just go into bondage wear.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, kids. So, it's a. Where was I? Last Guardian. There we go. The Last Guardian basically is a concept style storybook. Basically, remember the old EC comics back in the day? Where basically EC comics were basically it was the comic book and basically the descriptive text underneath. We're doing that with the Last Guardian book. So I want to try a different form of storytelling, and that should be kind of an interesting thing to do. So we're gonna run that. That's gonna be coming out in September. So just in time for Rivers Comicon Colton.
Yeah,
so that should be
September.
September. Rivers Comicon. See me there, Kids Love Comics Club Pavilion. I will be there. But The Last Guardian is basically that type of book. It's basically the story of the child who's basically trying to find this the last city of humanity called Sanctuary, and it's a apocalyptic world that's been ravaged by AI monsters. So I'm trying to be kind of topical with it.
Yeah.
You know what happened with basically Bill Gates loses control of the AI creature. Well, let's face it, it won't be Bill Gates, it'll be Musk. Let's face it. So the world has been ravaged by these creatures, and he's just trying to find his way. But the teddy bear is a gigantic automaton, like a gigantic robotic teddy bear that protects him. Yeah. So it's basically like it's a buddy story, and it basically hangs on the concepts of basically hope, friendship, and courage. All my books in my range, including bizarrely enough the Mr. Button book, all have the core concepts of hope, friendship, and courage. So when I do my writing, all my stories hang around that area. So it's very hard to pull out any of my writing what is my favourite type of story. I like playing with the concepts of friendship and courage and hope and basically the dark elements, that sort of thing. I grew up in the 80s. We all got screwed up by the Disney movies back in the day where basically, what do you mean everybody just died? Remember Never-Ending Story? No, not the horse! Yeah. Poor Beto. So, we're all kind of damaged by that, so my writing kind of reflects some of that stuff, but it's a lot of fun doing that kind of thing.
So you just said that you drew from the 80s Disney and everything.
Yeah,
yes. What inspired you to start writing?
That's a very hard question to ask. I've always kind of wrote on and off for like a long period of time. Then I got lost in doing professional work, and I basically picked up a pencil and a pen back in the 2010 to start writing again. And I thought, let's just tell some stories. And the Night Guardians originally came from a story of me looking at a teddy bear on a shelf, and this teddy bear sits on the shelf, and he's gathered dust because basically you don't dust your cuddly toys once they're on the shelf, but he's constantly watching us. Why are these guys watching us? And there's two ways you could take this, but I went basically the non-creepy way, and I went, okay, he's guarding us. What are they guarding us for? They're guarding us from monsters. So, could I write a story about a teddy bear? He's in his last days with his child, because he's about to be retired, put into the attic by his child. And what if these monsters come out and try to steal this child's imagination because he's turning from basically from a child into a teenager? Yeah. So what would happen? Would the teddy bear, this old aged teddy bear, would basically try to protect his child no matter what? So basically, the first story I ever wrote was basically called The Teddy Bear Tales Unconditional, which actually is a storybook, and it's very much, I would call it a Spartacus slash 500 type thing. Where basically, the teddy bear's just constant waves of monsters and how he constantly fights them off, like rolled up magazines, builds like forts out of Lego and that sort of thing. But I sat down, I just wrote this story, and it came out as a really nice storybook, and it got some traction because, besides my best intentions, it actually helped children. It basically, they looked at their cuddly toy and go, okay, how come my cuddly toy with me? Why am I afraid of the dark anymore? And it helped children basically, switch off that light when they sleep, which is great and fantastic, so they don't sleep with the lights on. And one of the deepest and probably most personal stories of this entire thing, we're going to get very deep and dark and personal here, so if I start crying, it's all his fault.
It's okay.
the story helped a child. I got an email from a mother called Christina who lived up in Arizona, and her child had bone cancer, stage 4. Really sad story, that. But they discovered my book, and they started reading it to this kid. And this kid's, remember, this is a stage 4 on a child, so it's pretty bad stuff. He was reading it to the child, and he looked at, he had this orca toy, and he looked at his orca toy, and basically he stopped being afraid about what he was facing. There we go.
Yeah.
But no, but the orca toy he said his orca toy was protecting him, and basically found the courage to basically face his cancer. So when I wrote this story in 2010, purely on a whim, like what would this teddy bear do? It had an emotional effect 4 years down the line. This child is facing this disease, which unfortunately took his life about a year later, which is just a really sad story.
Yeah.
Gave him this courage. So one word of warning, a word of praise, a warning, depending on how you take it, is be careful with your words, kids, because it can affect people very deeply. So be very careful with them.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to see the power of this story. And I thought, what can I do to make this story more accessible? Because storybooks are storybooks, when they're great and fantastic. So I took the concept of the Teddy Bear Tales and turned it into the Night Guardians. I thought, let's make this a band of heroes of cuddly toys that basically protect children, and basically and the stories have been basically written around basically the traditional hero format, where you have the young impetuous guy, you have the mentor, you have the OCD keep everything together person, and you have the crackpot crazy inventor. So basically, that's basically the core concept of any superhero team. And now I've mentioned it. You go look at Justice League, go look at Avengers. You can see the same thing happen in those teams. But I thought I'd make it a comic book, and I did. And it took me like 6 years to put the Night Guardians ratings together. It's like a huge graphic novel, about 156 pages.
Yeah.
Then we basically broke the universe out into different concepts, from basically into like Team D, which is a story of a super smart girl who uses math to open portals between worlds, and she goes off on adventures with a grumpy old teddy bear and a rubber dinosaur that keeps changing size all the time. And we also another story called The Dream War, which is a tale of 2 children that basically go into the dream world to protect us from nightmares. So everything's kind of just growing out from that one tale, that one almost time of whimsy on my part, going, I want to see if I can do this, because I want to write one story in my life and see if I can do it. And I found I can do it, so it's good.
Oh, that's interesting. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. I did say, 10, 15, 20 minutes or so?
How long are we going? 20, 30, 40?
Yeah.
No, we're about 13 minutes.
13, so...
Only 13 minutes, Sid!
I won't take up your whole day. I know you got a bunch of books to sell and everything like that.
I do basically get selling. I've left my Gino at the table, and she'll start panicking very soon. So
where can everybody find you at?
Where can everybody find me? Well, on the street. If you see a poor guy wearing a really ragged brown shirt, a brown vest with a cup, please give him some money. He's a desperate author, writer. But no, seriously, you can find me at altworldstudios.com. That's my main website, altworldstudios.com. On there you can find all my books. My books are available on Amazon, because they would be, and also basically any Barnes & Noble you go into. They're all ages appropriate, and if you basically I might be in your local East Coast convention somewhere, because my next show is going to be MonkeyCon. After that we're going to be at the Harrisburg Pop and Culture Con. And then I think we break for like a week, and then we're at the big boy, Baltimore Comic-Con. So, we'll be at those conventions there. But everything can be found online, altwoodstudios.com. Just look up the Night Guardians, or look up Nick Davis and the Night Guardians, and you'll basically find me there.
All right, well, thank you for sitting down with me. It's been a pleasure.
You've been awesome, Colton.
Right,
so have you, Bob. You've been Bob. Bob's been awesome. Bob's behind the camera. Nobody ever sees Bob.
Yeah, Bob's back there. He's waving. No one can see.
He's really waving. Oh, put that finger down, Bob. Oh, Bob. Really? Oh, man.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sitting down with me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.